Bria, what story or context about you do I need to know in order to understand why you're into social media and marketing?
I would say you would need to know that I love storytelling and I love influencing, but not in the sense of actually being an influencer, like we see it in today's social space, but more so presenting something to people that I feel like actually matters, which I feel like some influencers do, but presenting something to people that truly matters and helping them to see how it can really be beneficial for themselves or the people around them. And to kind of go back to the storytelling piece, I love storytelling because it's really just fun, and I feel like it's something that we've been doing since the beginning of time, and social media is just a new way to do that.
I can totally relate to the storytelling aspect. One of my favorite things to do is just be a video creator. It's part of my job as a freelancer. It's part of this hobby, which is YouTube. It's something that is just really fun, and I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. When in your life did that become a thing, or has it always been part of your life?
Storytelling has always been a part of my life. I started reading at an early age, and I feel like the books would just kind of transport me into another realm, and I would be a part of the story with the characters, or the books would play as movies in my head. I would always watch movies with my father. That was how we bonded. So that was just, it has a special place in my heart. And theater. I started doing theater in middle school, and it is one of the best feelings in the world to take a story that is loved by so many, get a cast of people from the area you live in and rehearse and perform this story in front of a bunch of people that you know and don't know. And it's just the best thing. And so what I love about social media is that I can do the same thing. I can tell stories, whether it be video format or just words with text posts, or pictures, a carousel just sliding through. I can tell a story, and it can be for a business, or it can just be for fun. It can be for a church. It can be for anything, and it can help people learn how to pray, learn how to apply makeup. It can be anything. Social media is for everyone.
You use the word influencer, and I want to kind of dive into that a little bit. So I have some research for you.
Oh.
Studies show that more than half of Gen Z believe becoming an influencer is a reputable career choice. A similar number would also quit their current jobs to become an influencer if it was enough to pay for their lifestyle. So what does that research say about the power of social media, and does that number even shock you?
I'll answer the last question first. The number does not shock me because it seems easy. It seems like people are just getting in front of a camera, talking, having fun, and then they get to shut it off and go on about their fabulous lives. But and some of them, that might be the case, but I know a lot of them spend a lot of time negotiating contracts and not knowing when they're going to get paid from those contracts because it takes forever, or when the next contract is going to come with the brand deals and things like that. It's also a lot of editing if you don't have an editor yet. It depends on how much money you're even making from all of this. So I think a lot of people don't really understand how much goes into it, and also the mental toll that it can take on you having so many people peering into your life all the time. And granted, you can decide how much you're gonna share of your life, but I personally just don't find that very appealing. Even with sharing content related to God, which I want to start doing soon with my second e-commerce business slash ministry called Abaya. I've been praying about it because I remember years ago I told the Lord, please don't ever let me get in front of a camera or behind a mic if I don't truly have something to say. I don't want to go up there trying to yap and do all this talking when you did not call me to do it. And it's not actually glorifying you or benefiting the kingdom. So all that to say, I'm not surprised that it's very popular amongst people, or amongst people consuming the content. I think the research just shows that people are consuming that content like crazy, and people are interested, and people feel like they relate to it, which is cool. They relate to it, but they also don't know how much goes into it.
I think a lot of people put their identity in social media, which is kind of a double-edged sword, because what we're talking about here is people, especially young people like us, and even younger, who are chasing this desire to have influence, which I think everyone has influence, actually. But to make influence a job, I don't think, like, it's a relatively new concept. And so a lot of young people are chasing this thing and putting their identity in it, which is very strange. Like, the internet is very strange. I interviewed a friend of mine who is a fellow YouTuber. He has built an entire business off of a YouTube channel from the internet. So the fact that people can earn a living and have so much value and place it all in the internet and content, it's very strange when you really think about it.
I think a lot of people do it because that's where they're spending a lot of their time, and where you spend a lot of your time influences how you think, what you think about yourself, what you think about the world around you. And you might not even realize it. You might think that, oh, I'm just scrolling, I'm just watching this thing. But those people are definitely influencing you. I have one friend, she does not have social media. She hasn't watched TV really in like a year. I asked her to watch this show, and she was like, okay, I didn't know this at the time. I asked her to watch something, and she literally just researched the whole thing. She was like, Bria, I didn't watch it, but I know everything about it. So we just talked about it. But she, I feel like, is one of the most confident and secure people I know, and her thoughts seem much more pure and just true to herself and grounded than a lot of people who are chronically online, who I feel like have so many thoughts coming at them that they have to kind of try to sort through, and they don't even know what they believe about certain things. So I think that when you are, especially for young people still trying to find out who they are, if you're spending a lot of time on social media and people are telling you what they think and feel about everything from health to religion to beauty, you're going to get all messed up. Like, you really have to have your own solid foundation first.
I want to dive a little bit more into the content creation side of social media. There's a famous quote from Picasso, one of the greatest painters of all time. He said, "Good artists borrow, great artists steal." When it comes to creating or branding, where do you draw inspiration from?
I find accounts on social media that inspire me. I find accounts who are doing what I aspire to do, and who are doing it very well. I look for quality content. I look for consistency, and I just follow those pages and let it inspire me. Like, for instance, I am not the greatest at graphic design, but I'm not going to try and reinvent the wheel or feel like I need to go out there and find my own style. No, I'm going to see what is being done, and I'm going to do my own little spin on it. I'm going to go in Canva and try my best, and then I'm going to put that content out. I think that we have to focus on our strengths. So while I might be heavily inspired by what I see from a graphic design standpoint, I don't want to take other people's content, especially if it's something related to God. I'm going to let the Holy Spirit lead me in that way. The Holy Spirit, first of all, is the most creative being. You know, he's God. So he is the most creative, and he lives in me. So that is all the inspiration that I need to be able to tell the stories and create the content that I want to create, but more importantly, that he wants me to create.
That is something that I've really been thinking about more in probably the past 6 months or so, is how much creative inspiration you can actually draw from the Bible. I don't think a lot of creative people realize that, one, God is the first creator ever, and all inspiration kind of draws from that point in Genesis. But yeah, it's just something that has never really clicked for me, is like, why am I not going to the source of all creation for inspiration and wisdom, like in how to make things, how to build, a freelance, like a video business. Like there's so much wisdom on business and creativity and just people skills. There's so much in there that I think I was kind of missing out on for a while.
We go through that phase, especially as Christians, because while we're in the world and not of it, we're still in it. So we are taught to do things a certain way by society and school and all those things. And we're taught that we have to rely on our own brains and our own intelligence and our own skills and things like that. We're not necessarily taught to rely on God so much for our creative inspiration. Even in church, the focus is, which is great, the focus is more on salvation, discipleship, and things like that. But I think when talking about specific things, we have to find other believers who God has led in down that path. And so I don't know, I just haven't heard from many believers who speak about God leading them in their creative, whether it be career path or just creative journey, whatever they're doing. I think I've seen it and heard it a little bit more because of social media. I had a realization a couple years ago that God created us in his image, which means that the creator made us creators. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so profound. And then I saw other people saying something similar. I was like, okay, so we're all like, Holy Spirit got us all on one nice, one vein, I guess. But yeah, I think that as we continue to grow in Christ, we start to realize these things more.
I want to get your thoughts on the role of AI in the creative process. Up until the 21st century, basically humans have been doing everything in terms of creation and manufacturing and all that good stuff. But we're in a really interesting time right now where AI is starting to take over, especially in the creative space.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the role that plays?
Yeah, I think, I forgot his name. Can't remember that young man's name. But he said that he uses AI to just kind of do shortcuts for tedious tasks. And so, for instance, he said, don't let ChatGPT write your church's mission statement, but tell ChatGPT what your church is about and that you need help writing the mission statement. See what ChatGPT generates and then decide what you want to take from that. And this is if you're not, the best writer, and if God hasn't just given you the mission statement. And that's actually probably not the best example, because that's probably something you need to decide with people, but maybe ChatGPT just helped you word it better. I love to use it whenever I'm writing things and I'm like, I do not like how this sentence sounds. And instead of sitting there for 30 minutes and writing different versions of that sentence, I'm going to ask ChatGPT how to make this sound better. And then I'm going to decide if I like ChatGPT's version, but I feel like I've said ChatGPT 20 times just now. But anyway, AI, see if I like their version better or mine, because at the end of the day, I'm human. I know what a good human brand voice sounds like. I know what good copy sounds like, and it's a computer. It's supposed to help. I kind of use it as an assistant. AI can help you generate ideas. AI can help you with a bunch of different tasks, but when you start to use it in place of creativity, and integrity and authenticity, that's whenever it becomes not the best thing. And then that's more in the realm of copy and ideas and strategy. But when you start getting into like actual art, visual art, and even how it's taking these different musical artists' voices and play, I don't like any of that. I don't like any of that.
It's really crazy how quickly it's evolving too.
Yeah.
It really started off with like images and writing, like what you're saying. It is entering a new phase right now. OpenAI, who created ChatGPT, they just recently created something called Sora, which does AI generated video from text.
That's interesting.
So, I mean, a few years from now, this entire conversation could be replaced by an AI generated image and video and voice and everything.
That's
which
so
is
dystopian.
very weird sounding. And it sounds like it's not, no one's going to buy into that. It's going to look fake and stuff. Sora looks legit. Like, there's a few things that are off, but think about in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, it's only going to get more realistic. And it's very, I don't know. I don't want to say it's scary, but it's definitely something to be aware of as a creative person. Like, these are things that are entering our space. And if we're not aware of them, or if we're not learning to master them, then they could essentially replace you or destroy your creativity and things like that.
Yeah, we need great laws. We need really good laws around this stuff, and we just need to be ethical. But we know how things can go south when. Just edit that out. But anyway, yeah.
In 2020, you started your own brand.
Yeah.
What was the purpose behind that, and what lessons have you learned along the way?
Yeah, so I started In Essence Designs in 2020 with a friend. She had gifted me a custom design for my birthday that year, and I cried. It was so sweet, so beautiful. It was a picture of us, illustrated, but it was a faceless portrait style illustration. So it was just really sweet, really sentimental. I knew which picture it was immediately. So I was like, I know Adobe Illustrator. I learned it in college. I can teach her, and we can just start a fun little business. And we did, and she got way better than me in such a short amount of time. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to handle all the marketing and business side of things. You do the illustrations. And so we did that together for about a year. And then I just kind of took it over on my own, kind of split ways. She was doing more of her thing. She's doing great. Really proud of her and all that she's doing. And yeah, I just kind of took it over. And maybe like 2 months later, I had a viral video on TikTok. It was a creator. He was like, stitch your cool thing. Like, we stopped doing show and tell in elementary school. Why? Like, stitch this and show me your cool thing. And I was like, my cool thing is this. And I had a picture of my family in front of me, and I moved it, and it was like the illustrated picture, and people loved it. And that was the start of me really becoming visible and getting visibility. And yeah, just learning how to leverage social media, organic and paid ads, and creating content that would convert. And it's been so much fun. I had another viral video. I had a video that did maybe twice or 3 or 4 times as well. I don't know, but it did so well. And it's been a journey. TikTok had changed its algorithm last February, so February 2023. And so I wasn't getting as many views, and I was like, man, what's going on? So just having to learn different strategies and how to go about having social media as your main and pretty much only sales channel. It's been a learning experience for sure, but it's been one of the most incredible experiences of my life. Literally having hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of customers, repeat customers, people telling me, oh my gosh, it's so amazing, it's beautiful. My boyfriend cried when he got it because some people use them as grief gifts. They'll get a picture illustrated of someone they love and someone who passed away. So like one girl got an illustration of her best friend when her best friend was younger and her best friend's dad who passed away. They even used the illustration to do a tattoo. Like it's incredible how many people love the designs and just care so much about my little business.
Did you ever expect it to become something more than just a hobby?
It wasn't necessarily a hobby. I honestly am not too keen on like sitting there and being meticulous with the drawings and things. So I knew how to use Adobe Illustrator, but it's not something that I did past my class in college. So I thought it was just going to be a fun little side business. And then 2022, I had left a job. I quit a job. Yeah, February 2022. And the Lord is so good. He used, in essence, to supplement my salary that year. And that was so cool to see how much people, the Lord could, first of all, be so faithful and provide, but also how much people were supporting me and happy to do it. So yeah, I did not think that it would become something so incredible, but it did. And it's something I'll cherish forever, for sure.
You are pretty proficient when it comes to branding, marketing, strategy, not just posting things to be cute or funny or whatever, but actually like having some intention behind what you're doing. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you see creators or businesses make when it comes to branding?
Yes, a lack of awareness of who their audience is and what they want, and not paying attention to the emotional and psychological side of branding. So you can't just go out there and post your product and tell me what your product does. I don't care. You can't just make it so emotionally tied to you and the fact that you've just been wanting to run your business forever and you're so happy to do it now. That does not connect. I need to see, I need to be able to connect with it. That long pause, please take that out. Yeah, I need to be able to connect with your brand. I want to, yes, tell your story, because if I see someone who I feel like, oh my goodness, she started where I started, or he started where I started, and if he did it, I can do it too. Yes, that is inspiring, but you have to be very tactical about it, even down to the brand voice, the brand colors, all those things matter so much. The logo, like you have to build a package and you have to be able to sell it to people. And so I was blessed because my package was kind of almost already built for me. The fact that it's something custom and it's a really great gift and it's so sentimental. I don't have to convince people to care about their loved ones. They already do. So I already had that to my advantage. So I think that like if you're selling, I don't know, hair oil, you already have some sort of advantage there because people want to grow their hair. So just kind of show people how much you know about hair, and also like you have to be an expert sometimes with whatever your brand is.
So have you seen my YouTube channel?
Yes.
Have you seen my Instagram account?
Yes.
Can you do a super quick audit
No.
of my accounts? And be honest. Don't hold back.
Okay. I think that it's really, really cool, first of all, what you're doing. I love that you're interviewing real life people. So with some podcasts, I see that they're touching like more hot topics. Like, I feel like the only people who are going to be interested in certain videos are going to be the people who know the person in the video if the topic isn't the hottest topic. So maybe, I don't know, maybe talking about trending topics a little bit more, or just attention grabbing topics, I think. Yeah, I don't know. You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I appreciate
You're
it.
doing a great job. I think because when I saw Miss Carol, I was like, oh, I want to see, what she's talking about. Or Miss Terry, I was like, oh, but some of your other guests, I'm like, I don't really know them. So yeah.
And then what about Instagram? Because that seems to be you have a strong suit for Instagram, TikTok, things like that. What do you think about?
I think the same exact thing applies. Yeah, because I don't know your guests, I would, oh my goodness. And I would say maybe curating a little bit more of a vibe. So maybe like some type of different color lighting or just something that draws that person's attention immediately. Because I love looking at videos where someone's talking and it's just like I want to be in the room with them. Yeah.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's all good feedback. I like asking people for feedback because the goal with this is to grow.
Yeah.
Right? And so the only way I can do that is if people are honest and they tell me, hey, maybe try this, experiment here, like focus on this. So I appreciate you being honest, and you did not hurt my feelings.
Oh, no,
so
you're
don't
doing
worry.
amazing. Like, your feelings should not be hurt at all. Like, you are doing amazing. And I think that we've talked about this before, but just the fact that you are executing is so impressive to me. I know so many people who just talk about it and they're not being about it, or they do it and it's...
Yeah.
I was about to say something silly. I was about to say it's poo trash. That's not nice at all. But no.
I'm going to leave that part in.
No. You can. They can see a little personality.
Yeah. Gotta keep it real.
Yeah, and they're doing stuff, but the quality isn't the best. I feel like, you're doing stuff and it looks like it's supposed to be on your close friend's story. It's like we need a little bit more quality. We need a little bit more quality. Or maybe we don't, because I've seen people go viral for less. You know what I'm saying? I've seen people be popular because of who they are. So there's, I think, a balance of authenticity and quality. It also really depends on who you're trying to attract, like who's your audience and are you trying to sell something? I feel like people who are like on YouTube, maybe they can get away with authenticity if it is really driving traffic because they are getting paid by ads. But if you are trying to get clients or customers and your quality isn't great, why would I trust you with your product or your service if you can't even put in a little bit more investment into your camera and your setup?
As we start to wrap up, I have one final question for you. If someone listening to this episode is thinking about really giving it a shot when it comes to content creation or branding or marketing, all these things we've talked about, what would you tell them?
I would tell them to focus on quality over quantity. So first and foremost, build out your strategy, know what you want to put out there and why. Learn everything you can about branding. And even there are free little brand kits all over the place that will tell you, oh, you need a logo and you need brand colors and you need your own fonts, and you just brand yourself well. If that's, the direction you want to go in, or if you just want to get in front of a camera and you just want to be yourself and you are the brand and that's all you want to do, and you just want to just make sure that you're focusing on quality and that you're able to be consistent, even if that's just once a week or once every 2 weeks in the beginning, and find your rhythm to be able to post and be faithful. Also know your audience, right? So I feel like, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. I've heard that quote a few times. So know your audience and have personality, and you'll draw in the right people. So I have a very specific audience within Essence. It is like 25 to 55-year-old Black women. And I've tried to kind of venture out and grasp more audiences, but I'm like, no, my sisters, they faithful, and I'm gonna stick to advertising in the ways that I have been because I know that they're responding. So just find your audience and, build community with them and have fun. Have fun. I've taken a while to launch my second brand. I call it a ministry brand because it's like both. I've taken a while because I was like, why am I rushing? And am I going to be able to sustain this if I start whenever I wanted to start? And I was like, no, I'm not going to be able to sustain it. And I was like, who am I rushing for? Not God and not me. So I'm going to take my time. So sometimes you just need to take the time, plan, and make sure that everything's in place. And how also is this like going to be like a business? Do you need to get all of the legal stuff in order? So just make sure you have a plan.
I appreciate you coming on and sharing all of your wisdom and insight. I think you gave people a fresh perspective on these topics. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.